Hello everybody, and welcome to my Dark Souls 3 walkthrough. In this video I will be handling the highwall of Lothric. I will show only what needs to be shown in this video. Now first of all, a new player will always want to get their shield up almost in all situations, turning corners, etc. As in the Soul series, there's a lot of ambushes. Now rushing and killing the lantern hollow is the best thing you can do really, quickly. Now, for every other class that does not want to use the Uchigatana as their starting weapon, there's another weapon coming up soon which can be used in place of it. These enemies are quite easy to backstab. Now, as we hop through here, don't get fooled by the relatively easy enemies. There are just dragon that will fly down. Now this fire can click if you're unlucky. Now, don't worry, your character will get stun locked even when there's no fire on the ground. If you just spam the roll button, you should get through it relatively unscathed. Now, for those who do not want to use the fire Uchigatana early on, I strongly recommend this weapon over it. Now, the way the chain is pointing away means this chest is a mimic, as well as the chest opening. Do not interact with this, or else it will most likely kill early builds. Instead, attack it as much as you can, then begin the fight with it. Now, usually as long as you circle to the left of this creature, you should be fine. But I do recommend rolling away from the grab. The grab does have some odd hit detection. Now, once that is dealt with, it's drop the deep battle axe. This axe is essentially the beginner's best friend, because it does high damage, can be equipped by many classes, and also as a weapon deals increased damage, isn't too complicated, and doesn't require any knowledge or setup. It just gives more damage. Now, first of all, I strongly begin by recommending to let this knight walk past. By letting this knight walk past, you're getting yourself out of a very hard fight early on, and if at this stage you're hurt or losing on Estus, then this is probably the best circumstance you can get, as you will not have to fight that night. You can do it later, once you've hit the bottom bar to your right. Now, if you try and run up, this hollow will follow you up the stairs. They're not that strong unless they backstab you. And because that is a dagger type weapon, it will have bonus critical damage. Light the bonfire, rest at it. At this point you can go back and spend your souls, but for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to continue with the guide. You can take out the knight, but I recommend letting it pass if you're not that confident. There will be an enemy down here, which you can punch attack. Now, to launch your weapon, I recommend a fire weapon for this, however any weapon will do. And run and attack this one, as he will transform into a Ludex Gundir type phase, second phase, if allowed. drop down or climb down depending on your preference. And I do recommend killing this hollow. Now, when entering this building, go to your left and there'll be a lantern hollow. I recommend killing him as fast as possible so he will buff the other hollows in the area. Kill the next one. As you walk into this room, to your right there'll be a thief who will backstab you if you just go for the item, which is a Titanite shard. Now, it's almost inevitable to have to fight this knight, so what I recommend do is turtling behind the shield, which means holding the shield up at almost all times, rolling through the attacks you feel comfortable rolling through. Do not take that. Dodge. And just go for backstabs. This knight is susceptible to backstabs. And then do wake him up with a well, whatever weapon is strongest for whatever weapon you're using. Now, if you come to your right and drop down, there's a weapon called an Restored Straight Sword. This weapon is good for early faith builds as it scales with faith, I believe. A broadsword does more damage early on than the longsword. However, since ours is fire infused, it's probably better to keep that. I recommend coming over here and killing the enemy hollows over here. The Silver Eagle Kite Shield is the first 100% pure physical block shield for any class that did not start off with one. However, it does come with a different weapon skill. For example, the Knight's one is a parry, while the Silver Eagle Kite Shield allows weapon arts to be used. Now, the reason I took fire bombs to start instead of leveling up is because of this room. This room is very difficult if you're not ready. Emotion players do not have the equipment to deal with this new room. These enemies can be stun locked, however together they can kill new builds very quickly. Down here there will be a dog, which dogs flinch to fire damage, most of the time anyway. This is a cell key which can be used to unlock the thief, which I'll show in the next video. This is an S to shard to upgrade your Estus flask. Backstab. Now, if you have a fire weapon at this stage, your fire will ignite the barrel. That was an accidental chug there. Now, okay, an enemy boss. I'm dealing with this enemy first. Now you can run past this person, or you can fight him. I'm going to fight him, showing you players how to. Most of what this guy does can be blocked with relative ease, and he can be backstabbed. Then woke up. Backstabbed. Quite easy. However, he does a spinning move, which you get away from it because you won't be able to block it enough. Your shield at this point does not have the stability to block it. Now collect the embers from around here and move on. Take a right. This is going towards the bonfire again at the beginning of the level. This is an ambush set up by the hollows over there. So I'm again running past, hitting the elevator. No. This archer will aggro and will not light the bonfire. Will not let you sit at the bonfire. Sit at the bonfire now. At this point, you can go back and spend your souls, or you can go back and use the Estus shard. I'm not going to do that. For the sake of brevity, of course. And because, to be honest, Vort, the first boss, or the second boss in the game, to be honest, is quite easy. There is another boss in this area and you can fight it at the beginning of the game. However, I strongly do not recommend it for new players. Then they'll later back up in case you die. And move on. Now, there are many ways to do this here. I recommend running past the knights, but if you're not confident in that, I recommend drawing them off one by one. They cannot enter this cathedral. Now you can listen to the dialogue, but I'm going to be skipping it. Talk to your again, you will be able to join the Way of Blue Covenant if you're playing online PvP. You can't summon the swordsman if you've killed him in Firelight Shrine. But I recommend not doing that, as the fort is easy enough. Now, for new players, keep the shield up at all times. Roll what attacks you can. I will always be saying this. Back roll. He will break your guard. Now, when you're underneath him, most of attacks cannot hit you. For example, like that one, it missed me completely. And to be honest, just go to town. True hand if you are confident. Once he hits, I believe, this amount of HP, he goes into his second phase, which is more aggressive and has a charge, which is probably the only scary move he really has. Once he initiates his breath attack, get up and punish. If you're frostbitten, don't worry, it does not mean you're going to be bled or anything. It just means your stamina will regenerate very slowly. And that is Vort. The first, second main boss of the game down. Light the bonfire for later. And that is the beginning area done. Next day I'll be covering the Undead Settlement, and I'll see you then.